Hey everybody, it is 10 minutes to 10 p.m. in Skagway, Alaska on Memorial Day. The sun's supposed to set in a few minutes and it comes up at 4 o'clock. This is crazy. It's like still broad daylight. Wow, I just don't know what to say. Alaska's crazy.
Hey YouTubers, Becky here, rolling with the Davises. Today finds us in Skagway, Alaska, and we're starting out with the two main things that I wanted to do while we were there, no matter what else. I wanted a Klondike Doughboy, and I wanted to ride the train.
There's our second day in Skagway, so that means it's our second fried dough. Klondike Doughboy. Delicious. Little chilly here in Skagway today. We just finished our Doughboy. Dave got himself a dead man's roast coffee here at the train station. Our train's boarding in about an hour, so we're just killing time. Got the building done very well here. White Pass and Yukon route. Built in 1898. This is not the original depot. The National Monument or National Park is actually in the original depot.
Here, the White Pass and Yukon route was only running steam on Friday and Sunday, and we were not here either one of those days, so guess what? We're gonna have to go back.
I don't want to be too far out. Rocks coming. Yeah.
look upwards across the valley, you should be able to see what looks like a road along the mountainside. What we're seeing is not a road, but is actually the continuation of our rails. It's about we call it the Highline section. It's about 3 miles ahead by rail and 700 feet above us from where we are now. You can see our famous wooden trestle bridge over the deep chasm of Glacier Gorge, which will lead us into our first tunnel. And if looking at that bridge makes you just a little bit nervous, well, don't worry. We'll just cross that bridge when we get there. Now, we don't always have beautiful days like today. In fact, we got very lucky that the skies cleared up for us. If you look to the left and high above, you'll notice some jagged peaks up there. Those are the Sawtooth Mountains. They are the tallest mountains we have in this area at about 7,200 feet in elevation. But only a few dozen men found so much gold they were considered Klondike kings. Most of these men were either unprepared for this change in fortune or did not possess the proper countenance to maintain it. Many of these Klondike kings died penniless, having drunk, gambled, or otherwise thrown away their fortunes. Despite these few men who were suddenly extremely rich and then quite the opposite, it is estimated that overall more money was spent by stampeders to buy supplies and passage to get to the Klondike than was actually ever found there.
Snow below us. There's a triple waterfall over there.
Now coming up is milepost 17, known as Inspiration Point. If you look over your left shoulder, you'll see a body of water in the distance. That is the Skagway Harbor again, now from a distance of about 12 miles as the crow flies. You might even be able to spot some of the ships we have in port today. The largest rail bridge of its kind in the world. Now don't worry, we won't actually be crossing this bridge. It was retired in 1969 and replaced by the bridge ahead of us, which is the one we will be taking. As we cross this ravine, we'll have a great parallel view of the steel cantilever before we enter our second and final tunnel of the day. With all of their supplies, they had finally triumphed over the grueling White Pass Trail, but in reality, their quest had only just begun. 20 more miles would take them to Lake Bennett. From there, they could build a raft, load it with their goods, and set out on a journey to navigate 550 miles of interconnected lakes and rivers before finally arriving in Dawson City and the Klondike goldfields. Though mostly still frozen over, the body of water we see on our left is called Summit Lake. It is a glacial tarn, or ribbon lake, which means it was gouged out of the bedrock by glacial erosion. With depths reaching over 150 feet, it is about 4 miles long, but it doesn't get much wider than what we see here. And yes, fish do live in this lake, mostly Arctic grayling and lake trout. Summit Lake is frozen much of the year.
We're now on the loop. Turn it around at the top of the summit. Where they turn around, but never one that's looped around like this. Right, Dave?
That's right.
The Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park is located in Skagway, and it's a little different from what you normally think of as a national park because it is a collection of buildings, some of them scattered throughout the town. Here we are in the Mascot Saloon, which was Skagway's longest running saloon till it was closed in 1916 due to local prohibition. Buildings from the Moore homestead are here in town. The Moore family had a lot to do with the founding of the town. We were here the last week of May 2025, and unfortunately, a lot of the buildings were still closed for the season. Another building that's been preserved is the Fry Broom cold storage from back in the day. Then there's Verbaheat's store and cribs. I'm pretty sure you know what that is. Brothels were a very lucrative business in any mining town. There's also Jeff Smith's parlor, which is now a museum. Apparently there's a play in town that a lot of it takes place within this establishment. We didn't see it while we were there, but apparently it's pretty interesting. What I actually thought was the most interesting and educational thing on display here is the kind of the courtyard setup that was dedicated to the ton of goods. The Canadian government required any stampeder headed to the goldfield to carry enough goods to last him a year. They figured about a ton of food for the year, 3 pounds a day, and the rest of the goods that they needed to carry was about that much again, so that added up to a ton. There was a general list of what they were expected to have, and they did have to pay a tariff at the Canadian border collected by the Canadian Mounted Police for them to get to the goldfields. They did have to transport this ton of goods up the mountain. Usually they carried it themselves, so imagine how many trips that was. If you had a partner and you were sharing some items, it did lighten the load a little bit, and there was somebody else to help carry. But what a treacherous job that was, getting that stuff up the mountain. That would have been the same path where the train went that we rode, that we saw previously in the video, or the Klondike Trail on the other side of the river.
As with most places where mining was prevalent, it usually almost always brought in a train. Of course, we've got the White Pass Yukon here. Looks like this is one of their old engines. There's the tender. And pretty much everything's been removed from up here in the cab. Firebox is welded shut or bolted shut. Oh, speaking of train, just had one come back into town from the White Pass. Okay, so according to Locomotive Fandom online, this is a Mikado. Oh, where'd it go? 282. Built, oh, okay, here we go. Built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works of Eddystone, Pennsylvania in February 1943. The museum is in an old church building bought by the city in the 60s. City Hall's in the back and the museum's in the front. It was spelt different back in the day. What year was this map made, does it say? 1898?
If you want to learn more about the history of Skagway, the Skagway Museum on Spring Street is the place to go. They've got native artifacts and a lot of information about the importance of the port, including the building of the Alaska Highway and how Skagway was the starting point for most of the soldiers as well as the material used to build the highway.
Franklin Guild.
See, there's their ton of goods. What I was reading this morning said that they were recommended not to leave town without a ton of goods, food for a year, and everything you needed for mining. Wow, look at the size of that sled. I guess they would. Did you see the sled? I guess that's what they packed their ton of goods on.
And here we have information on the Princess Sophia, which left Skagway and 4 hours later, October 1918, sank off the coast of Juneau after hitting a reef in heavy fog. All souls were lost.
The first plane landed at Skagway in 1922. I'm going to try to do a little hiking this morning. The weather has turned on us. I guess it's typical Alaska, but not what we were hoping for.
They call it river atmosphere.
Atmospheric river has come in. It's supposed to be a lot of rain this evening. And we're headed to Smuggler's Cove. So it's a short hike, 3/4 of a mile out and then back. So we'll see what we can see. Like yellow blazes to Yucatani Point and then red on to Smuggler's Cove. Seems crazy to be out here doing this hike, but I think this is the way the weather is going to be the whole time we're in Alaska. You just never know. We got to get out and get moving. We had that fried doughboy yesterday. Probably going to get another one today. So come to an intersection here. AB Mountain turns to the right. We're going to stay straight. This is pretty. Did get us back up in the wind though. See why it recommended wearing good shoes. This is cool. Now we're on a shelf over the water. Looks like we're approaching the cove. I guess you can get in here by the road too. Oh, wow. Going down to the water? I wonder if they brought alcohol in through here when they banned it in 1916.
Yeah, that's right. Cove for Smuggler.
This is the passage the cruise ships take to get into port. Look how high the water's been over there.
Okay, actually, it's freshwater clams. Something's opened that one up a little bit. Yeah, a lot of them are unopened. There's an unopened.
Yeah. Birds. Dave's prospecting, looking for that elusive gold nugget. We won't tell you if he finds one. There's a picnic shelter here and a fire ring. They just ask that you call ahead to check fire danger before you use it. There's even a bucket to get water. So it looks like you can drive into the cove also. Go up here and see what this sign tells us. The hiking trails behind me, they're through the woods. It says the cove was named during a mapping survey in 1883. He just assumed that smugglers had used it, but I think there's a pretty good chance since they banned alcohol in 1916. Most people probably go to the point on their way up the trail. We're gonna swing in here on our way back down. Okay, looks like we have a picnic shelter here too.
Beautiful blue sky behind it. What a nice cloud gets there. Well, it looks like the clouds on behind it.
And then
There's
there's
a
another one
sailboat.
over here. And we've got a sailboat.
Yeah. Try the cruise ships over
Oh, okay. We're back close to the port.
there. Yeah.
We got 1, 2, 3 cruise ships that we can see. Is there a fourth one?
There's the fourth one up,
Uh-huh.
up there. Was
Ah.
four come in today.
Four ships in port today. Day after Memorial Day, so things are getting busy.
All right, here we go. We're drinking something called a Reindeer Fart. Yep, pretty good.
Okay.
Root beer,
Yeah.
something other.
No.
And we had some local beers to go with our fart. And then while we were in town, we hit up the Klondike Brewing Company. Very good beer, very good service. And Skagway Brewing. Also good beer and good service. Come along in our next video when we visit Chitina and McCarthy, Alaska. And as always, let's keep rolling.